Thank you so much, Karin. Welcome, everyone. Before we begin, I just want to give a quick overview of how our time will be structured together. First, we'll give quick introductions, then outline the project, followed by a skill share, and then we'll finish up with an interactive walking exercise. So I'm Justin Maxon, I'm the project director, and I have 18 years of clean time. So who would like to go next?
I'm Aaron Ochoa. I am the project coordinator and a participant, and I have 3.5 years of clean time.
I'm Kristy Lee. I'm a project participant, and I have 2.5 years clean.
I'm Michelle Miller. I'm a project participant and a collaborator, and I have 12 years.
We actually have a guest here today, someone that I just met.
Hi, my name is Mike Anderson. I have 14 months clean, and I just met Justin today. I would love to hang out and be a participant.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. So an essential question that we're asking with this work is, or a question that we're confronting with this work is, who do we normally turn to in times of crisis? Typically, it's experts who have been bona fide by institutions and social hierarchies. But what about experts of experience? Those who have dealt with the loss of community amongst crisis, like people in recovery. We traditionally turn away from them out of projected shame and stigma. So this program asks us to rethink whose voices we elevate in times of crisis. It activates the skills people have developed in the recovery at a time when collectively we are looking for answers. So just give me a quick moment. I'm going to start a slideshow. So each participant is given opportunities throughout the training to present their skills within their community and later in a public setting through lesson plans, instructional videos, and public presentations. The steps of the program are: identify skills that are gleaned from personal experience, collect information about the origins of those skills, investigate how the skill manifests in daily life, develop the language and confidence to teach others, explore each other's skills with the skill holder serving as mentor. And finally, one of the most important steps in the program is when a participant becomes a collaborator, when they get the opportunity to lead and develop an exercise and be the main instructor in a public presentation like Michelle will be doing today. So there are currently 10 students in the program. And once they complete the training, there's going to be a big graduation ceremony. And afterwards, they'll get the opportunity to be paid mentors for any incoming new students. Just some quick background about how the program came to be. This work is part of a long-term project conceptualized with my partner and artist, Marina Lopez, that seeks to challenge the status quo of expert voice in the American context. She's actually going to be a first-year student this coming year in the Art and Social Practice program. And lucky enough, she'll be making a cameo appearance later in the hour. This program is also part of my long-term commitment to offering a community and story-centered approach to substance abuse recovery in Eureka. Eureka is my hometown, and like I mentioned before, substance abuse is no stranger. My fortunate path led me to a committed mentor who eventually became my adopted father. And this is an image of him on the left I took many years ago. He's taking a whiskey bottle from a man that he was mentoring at the time. He saw strengths in me that I was unable to recognize in myself at the time that helped me reconsider the value that I held within my community. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2019, but his memory still lives on in me as I work with people in recovery to help provide a space for them to more clearly see their own value. So again, thank you so much for being here today. And without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Aaron.
Hello again, I'm Aaron. I'm going to share a short video where I pose a question to everyone.
This laundry just keeps building up. One more pair of pants, one more shirt, one more pair of underwear, one more pair of socks. Now I just have to wear dirty clothes. Great. Oh, this mail just keeps building up. Another bill, another magazine, another letter. Oh, great. Publishers Clearinghouse. I just can't stop the mail. Look at all these dirty dishes. Oh, my sink's gonna plug up. All the food on the dishes. Ketchup stains on my plates. I'm gonna run out of dishes. Another dirty bowl, another dirty plate. Oh, great, I'm out of dishes. Now I gotta use a paper plate.
Now I will share a story that inspired the development of my skill. It's titled The Sandwich. Every night I would notice a stack of sandwiches bagged up that looked so much better than the sandwich I would eat at lunch. There was lettuce and cheese and tomato, and my sandwich was plain. The sandwiches looked as if they were made from a deli or homemade with all the fixings. They probably tasted fresh and crisp, just like something I would make. When I inquired about them, I was told they were the workers' sandwiches. As the days went on, my longing for one of those sandwiches grew and grew. It didn't take long until I was asking how I could get on the board to work. I was told the only job we could do was laundry. I figured that'd be easy enough, though I should have been more weary of it, considering I was never very successful finishing my own laundry completely as an adult. I asked every day and waited patiently. Eventually, there was an opening. It was finally my time. I was so excited to finally try one of those sandwiches. My first night of work came soon enough. I walked into a large room set up like a laundromat, with 4 commercial washers and 4 commercial dryers. In front of the washers, there was a huge pile of clothes, and I thought, wow, that's a lot, but not too much. My second thought was, oh my God, when my coworker said, when the washers are loaded, I'll go get some more. As the first round gets washed and dried, there's a lull when we can sit and watch TV. After that, it's on and cracking. I never counted how many shirts or pants I folded each round, but the piles were roughly 9 feet long and 3 feet high each time we emptied the dryers. The work was extremely repetitive. Fold in half, fold the arms in, fold in half again, stack. Fold in half, fold the arms in, fold in half again, stack. Over and over again, fold in half, fold the arms in, fold in half again, stack. I worked every night, 7 days a week, from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m., washing, drying, and folding. My job was constant and never once let up from the day I started until the day I was released from custody. My employer was the Humboldt County Correctional Facility. My pay was 5 small cups of coffee, no cream, no sugar, 5 small cups of Kool-Aid, usually watered down, and a sandwich at midnight. Oh yeah, back to the sandwich. Ironically enough, the sandwich was just terrible. A real grass is always greener feeling as I took my first bite and felt in my mouth how soggy the bread was, like a wet, doughy blob. I can describe the experience as eating an old gas station sandwich that was made days or even weeks before I bought it, like chewing on an old soggy sponge. I'm glad that the sandwich led me to work, and I wouldn't change it if I could, because it taught me to do a task until it was completed, and that no matter how big my personal laundry pile is, it will never compare to the piles of laundry I washed, folded, and put away in that time in my life. The end. So my skill is taking care of shit before it builds up. I learned as a child to keep my space neat and clean. I practiced it as an adult, but put it low on my priority list. Addiction being my first priority for many years taught me to be comfortable in my chaos. In my life now, I choose to live without self-created chaos. It's a skill I learned as a child, relearned during incarceration, and I practice now. The steps to my skill are: 1, do your chores so others don't have to. 2, get into a pattern where you do your chores regularly. 3, do other people's chores if they don't do them. 4, you benefit by helping others. 5, mentor those that ask for help. 6, it's as easy as being a good listener and offering advice. 7, understand the consequences if not completed. 8, don't tell yourself you will finish something tomorrow. More times than not, tomorrow never comes. 9, enjoy the reward of your hard work. So thank you, and remember to take care of your shit before it piles up. And with that, I will pass the mic to Kristy.
Hello again, I'm Kristy, and I'm going to share 3 things that I created that have to do with my skill. The first one is a short video. So I want to talk about how self-realization turns into insight. And I want to talk about how when you have a hole in your heart that causes you a lot of pain and you cry every night, and it's from a trauma that's from like a lost loved one, or you don't think you're pretty enough, or you're good enough, or you have an addiction, or you've had someone that has had an addiction in your life, then you would feel like you're at a breaking point, and so you don't know what to do. And that's when you realize that you need to come up with like a coping skill and actually physically do something like an activity to take your mind off of the pain that you feel. So what I just started to do was doing my makeup. I had a couple extra dollars in my pocket and I had the urge to use, and I was at CVS and I saw some mascara and somebody told me that would look really pretty on me. I thought I could spend my money on the mascara and buy it, or I could go back out and use. So I decided to pick up the mascara, and that would give me something to do at home to take my mind off of using. And I think that for those people that are suffering, you can realize you are beautiful. You are a person that is kind, that is loved, that is worthy to be a part of this world. You're not below somebody else. You are worth taking care of. So I encourage people to find something to do to make yourself feel happy. So that's my story. That's a little bit about me. And I hope that helped anybody out there that has lost a loved one and is dealing with this pain. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
Oops.
Now I'm going to share a short story that I wrote titled On the Move. I was living in a clean and sober house right across the street from the Church of Christ. The clean and sober house was really hard to live in. I'd wear red angry lipstick and mad mascara most of the time. There was never any privacy. You had to share your room and closet with other roommates and one bathroom with 10 other girls. I felt like I was going crazy hearing voices constantly through the paper-thin walls. When things started getting really bad, I went to the tall tan church building across the street from a break from the chaos. Everyone was so nice there. I met a man named Charles. He had 11 years clean and invited me to an NA meeting. I was so happy to get some support. We often spent time together. He turned out to be the nicest guy. My makeup looked really on point because I was so happy all the time. I wrote in my journal often about the first time he asked me out, and later if we wanted kids and if we wanted to get married. Journaling helped me realize I wanted someone to accept me for who I was, knowing about my addiction, and treat me like I was someone special. And he did that. Then in November, he got sick with pneumonia and spent 3 weeks in the ICU on a ventilator. Due to COVID, I couldn't visit him until he was gravely ill. One day, his sister called me and said we can come and finally visit. I read Charles a letter explaining how much he meant to me. The doctors took him off his ventilator and he passed away a few hours later. My heart was totally broken.
Every night I cried no matter what I was doing. This went on for weeks. I didn't even want to put on any eyeliner or mascara because I knew I would just cry it off. I couldn't breathe. It was eating me up inside. The only thing that helped me was writing in my journal facts about myself and what I was doing every day. It helped me feel grounded and fight the urge to want to pick up again. One morning, I dialed the pastor's number and asked him for an appointment to discuss how I was feeling. He told me to come and meet him at the church. I took a hot shower and got dressed. I started doing my You Go Girl makeup. I put a light layer of flawless foundation on, then a little tearless translucent powder over my forehead, cheeks, nose, and chin. I applied wing liner and smudged it around my eyes. I added curious brown arches to my eyebrows and finally added just black mascara and pink lipstick to my face and looked in the mirror. When I saw my completed work, I knew I was ready for a change. A couple of days later, after meeting with the pastor, I moved into a house managed by the church, where I have my own room and bathroom. It's been 2 months now, and I couldn't be happier. I saw how I can manifest things through my writing to make everything good. Through self-reflection, I truly believe that in order to wholeheartedly love yourself, you must first accept and forgive yourself. Letting go of your past, which is the hard part, but is so worth the effort. The end. So my skill is self-reflection leads to insight. I practice self-reflection through journaling and doing makeup. They have no rules. You can wipe the makeup off or erase what you write and start over as many times as you want with no falls. I can express my emotions with less fear of being criticized or having fingers pointed at me, because I'm by myself and no one is blaming, no one is judging. For example, if I tell someone, hey, I want to use heroin, I might be afraid that they will say, you are just a drug addict. But if I channel my urge into my makeup, I can start working on a look of someone who doesn't use. Or if I write it down in my journal, I might notice that every day at 7 p.m., I feel the urge. So instead, I can make the choice at 7 p.m. to take a shower or make a phone call to reduce the trigger of wanting to pick up. Some steps to my skills are: 1, keep a journal and write down how you feel. 2, keep track of what you are grateful for every day. 3, keep track of reoccurring patterns of the day that trigger you to want to pick up and use again. 4, notice whether the pattern is a time of day or situation, such as talking to a specific person. 5, take those negative patterns and do something in the moment that will bring out the opposite emotion. 6, change your environment and get a new outlook. 7, it's as simple as taking a walk, get some fresh air, circle the block, and cool your head for 5 to 20 minutes. 8, it's as simple as taking a shower, 5 to 20 minutes. 9, as a general rule, fit small positive things into your schedule to make yourself happy. Now I will pass the mic to Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm going to start with a story that shaped the way that I view the world and how I navigate within it. It's titled "The Day I Died in an Airplane Crash and Lived to Tell About It." I'm sure at some point most of you have heard the statement or read the statement somewhere that we are all one. Many dismiss this idea outright as psychobabble, but I know it to be fact, and I have a very odd story to back it up. I was 22. It was Friday, April 13th, 1984, and I was home alone. I had laid down on the sofa to take a nap at about 1 p.m. I was lying on my side, relaxed, and then I felt a strange magnetic pull between my upper and lower molars, like a vibration and a buzzing feeling. And I was hearing some kind of radio signal coming from inside my mouth. It sounded like a conversation between police and a dispatcher, kind of. The only other person I've ever heard of this happening to was Gilligan on Gilligan's Island, so I don't talk about it much. Since there was no one home to see if they could hear it too, I listened to the sounds for a few minutes, and then I drifted off to sleep. I immediately found myself taxiing down the runway of our local airport. It was a beautiful sunny day with almost no ocean breeze. It was a very small single-seat airplane that I had built myself. The plane left the runway. I climbed several hundred feet in altitude, and then I banked to the left directly over the water's edge at Clam Beach. Once I finished the turn south, I attempted to level the wings and right the plane, but I could not. Something was wrong. The cable that controlled my left flat was stuck, and there was only one thing I could do from inside the plane to fix it. It was a lever to the left of my seat, which I pulled. It was no use. I pulled it again, nothing. I couldn't fix it from inside the plane. It was instantly clear that the plane was going down. I was going to crash, and I probably wouldn't survive. I don't recall being frightened so much as resolved, and no one but myself to blame. I took a deep breath, like before you jump off a diving board, and the fraction of a second before impact, I found myself standing on the bank facing the ocean, and I watched the plane crumple into the beach, sending a rooster tail of sand into the air. And then bam, I was awake, wide awake. I got up immediately and I ran across the street to tell my best friend Helene the story. It was so vivid and so real. Later that day, I was making dinner in the kitchen and my phone rang. It was Helene. She was hysterical and shouting, "Turn on your TV." We only got 2 channels at that time and they both had news at the same hour. I turned on the TV and there on the screen in front of me was the crumpled plane, as if I had taken the picture myself. The doctor who had set my arm when I was 12 had gone up in a single-seated experimental airplane that he made himself, and he crashed into the sand at 1:20 in the afternoon while I was sleeping. I wasn't just with him, I was him. And that radio signal, not police dispatch, air traffic control. It's all about vibration. I believe it was that radio signal in my teeth that took me to the airport at that moment. And so now I know we are all one. Like cells on an elephant, you might be a cell in an ear and I might be a cell in a toenail, but we all share the same elephant. And without us, there is no elephant. Because of this, I've spent my life being what others might consider a goody two-shoes. But what we do to our fellow being, we do to ourselves. And what we do for our fellow being, we also do for ourselves. I have a few little friends who are going to help me explain my skill. So here are Witch Hazel and Scully. Take it away, kids.
Hello? Yeah, I was just headed out the door. I've got some of everything. I've got light meat, dark meat, ham, stuffing, potatoes, the whole works. Enough for 4 people. You're home now? Okay, I'll be right there. I'm just around the corner. It'll only take me a minute. Okay, thanks. All right, bye-bye. Where's she going now? To drop off some food for a man and his kids. Wow, a whole Christmas dinner to go? Yep. Later, she's taking a tent and some blankets to a couple that she met yesterday. She's always doing nice stuff for others. Why? What does she get out of it? Does she make money? No, she gets happiness. Happiness? She was always happy. She wasn't always. She used to get really depressed sometimes, and she would go to bed and sleep for days. Really? What fixed her? Giving. Giving what? Anything and everything. I saw her give a truck away once to a man and his son that were always walking to and from work and carrying all their tools and carrying their groceries long distances in the rain. She got a new vehicle and she gave them her truck. Wow. And that's what fixed her? Fixed her depression? Yep. When you do nice things for others, it sets off all kinds of great things in the brain. It releases serotonin and melatonin and oxytocin and endorphins. It gives you that all over good feeling. Wow. I'm going to do that. Thank you. Thank you.
So my skill is random or planned acts of kindness. Let's face it, we all get stuck in a lonesome, lonely place once in a while, and we can't seem to find the exit. Plan ahead. The best way to get outside of yourself is to do something for someone else. They need not be someone worse off than yourself. Whenever I have the opportunity to help, I jump in. And as a result, I stave off the blues almost completely. I very seldom find myself at a pity party for one where I'm the guest of honor anymore. So rather than explain the steps, let's take a few steps together, and I can show you my skill in real time. We're going to take a walk, and I will demonstrate some of the things that you can do. We are inviting you now to pick up your devices and join us and see what you can do in your neighborhood. I'll meet you out front in just a moment.
And those of you that won't be going on a walk with us, please do stay. And it'll only take a few moments for us to get ready.
Hello. I believe I'm with you. Okay. So we're going to take a walk, and I'm asking that each of you look around your neighborhood and find something that you can do for a neighbor or for yourself, and make a note of it. See if you see something where you can participate in your own environment. So next time you've got the blues and you feel badly, you can do something for someone else. So feel free to enter that in the chat at any time, or you can tell us about it at the end. We'll have time for that. And right here, I see, I'll turn this around so you can see it too. We have a lost animal. Please help find our cat. Take a few flyers and post them around town. Thank you.
Badger is a 1-year-old tuxedo cat who went outside with his brother Sprout. Oh, poor Sprout. A 4:20, but did not come home yet. He's last seen on E Street and Clark. He's very missed.
So we're going to take a few of these flyers, and we will hang them when we get the opportunity. When I was a kid, about 4 or 5, I was Daddy's little helper. I loved being Daddy's little helper. I knew every tool in the toolbox, and he'd be under the car working on something, and he could send me for a 5/8 ratchet or a 3/16 crescent wrench, and I knew exactly what to go get. I knew all of my lock washers from my star washers. Before I hit kindergarten, I used to be a litter getter too, because litter was his pet peeve. And so I often was sent out with a trash bag, and I'd go a half a mile to the right up the road, and then across the street, and a mile back, and then across the street, and then a half a mile back to our driveway. And that way there was never any litter anywhere on our street. And I like to take a trash bag with me whenever I go hiking or to the beach. And that way I can make sure that there's no evidence of humans other than the path. Because I think litter is terrible. I think our pristine environment is a nice way to leave the world. So I'm going to hang a poster here and help see if Badger can find his way home. Last fall, I met some people that lost their cat, and they lived an hour and a half away. And I helped get their cat home. Oh my. Look at that. We have a fence board that's come off, and I've got a hammer. And I am going to take a minute just to put this board back on. It still has a nail in it. That's easy enough. Ta-da! Bubble magic. Right as rain. Oh, look at that. There's some weeds that can be taken care of. So, my hammer, go over here, and maybe we can take care of some of these weeds and clean this up.
Michelle, can you help me with
Oh,
these?
you bet.
You look familiar.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, I think I've seen you around town somewhere.
Now, that's one.
every neighborhood has weeds, every neighborhood has litter. It only takes a minute and it makes a huge difference visually and also in your head. It's nice being able to look out your door and see a difference that you've made. I go so far as to prune hedges. I prune trees. And it's a little thing that you can do in your neighborhood and you can make a difference. Look at that. Wow. We'll come back and we'll do more later. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Michelle.
So I found later on, after I had kids, I enjoyed very much volunteering in my kids' schools, helping teach kids how to read. When you teach a kid how to read, especially if you can get them to be reading before they get to school, then school is easy because that's the first thing they want to do when they get to school. And if school is easy, then school is fun. And when school is fun, you don't have to worry about how to get them out of bed in the morning. Look at that. Hi.
Sorry.
Hey, we've got is it all right? We take care of this gate for you?
Yeah, no, I just get my dog to take after you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm just going to put a couple screws in this hinge and see if we can't return this hinge to, or this gate to working order. One. Two. I like the bubbles.
It comes with a tune.
It does. Yep.
Bubbles should always come with a tune.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every gate should come with bubbles.
Yeah. That too.
I'm just gonna put these back in. There we go. Tighten those up a bit. There we go. And look at that. Ta-da! Righteous rain. Lovely. Well, that's so much better. That's great. So I have a friend that worked in the literacy project, and she met a man who he used to deliver newspapers. That's what he did his entire life. He delivered newspapers from the time he was a young boy until he retired all over Eureka. And after he retired, he sought some help through the literacy project. And my friend, Tommy Stanley, taught that man how to read. For the first time in his life, he could read the papers that he delivered. I love that story. It's easy to get involved in a literacy project. You can call your local library. There are lots of things that you can do to volunteer in your area. There are opportunities on websites. We have a Pack Out Green team in our area, and they pick up litter everywhere. They meet, I think, once a month on a Saturday, and for a couple hours, they all pick up litter, and it makes a great difference. They can also help remove invasive species, which are taking over some of our beaches. And so I think it's a great idea to get involved in your community, helping to do anything. And it's a great way to meet people and people with common interests, people who care about the planet. I see something ahead of me here. We've got some people working very hard. Hang on a minute. Wow. Hi. You're doing a great job. Can I help?
I'm so tired.
Would you like a break?
Yeah, I'd love a break.
Let me take that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
You know how to use it?
I love this.
And I'm gonna walk over here. How's it going? Have a big painting job. It looks good. Great. You're doing a great job. Can I help? Sure. And actually, I have an extra paintbrush here. Right on. That'd be awesome. Take me a week to do this. Well, many hands make light work. So much. It's very nice of you to help. Sure. Good neighbor. Wish we had more neighbors like that. You know, I read a story once where Huck Finn made great fun of painting a fence, and as such, he got all of his friends to jump in and join him. I remember that story. Yeah. And so he got to stand back and watch, I think, ultimately. But I wonder if he had all these bubbles. I don't think he did. He would have been better off with bubbles. So, I'll be back a little later and I will help you finish this thing. I probably will be here for the rest of the week. So come on by anytime. Well, maybe we can help make that a short task. Great. I'm Michelle. Nice to meet you. Hope to see you again soon. I'm sure we will. When I was 22, I volunteered at Ferndale Repertory Theater as a prop builder. And 2 years later, I wound up the resident costume designer. Well, 10 years later, the theater had a really horrible, had a really bad earthquake. And it knocked all the houses off their foundations. Ferndale's houses were all sitting at angles like a Salvador Dali painting. And I went into the theater and saw where all of the shoes, more than 450 pairs of shoes, had fallen on the floor in a pile in the middle of this little 10 by 10 room. I spent more than 8 hours putting all those shoes back into pairs, but it was highly rewarding and it needed to be done. And I found something here. I'm going to share it with you. What? Okay. We've got somebody here that needs some help with a bicycle. Can I help you with that?
I'm watching you on TV.
Oh, yeah?
I was on my way to PSC to Assembly TV and my chain fell off.
Well, let me see if I can help you with that.
This is the best day ever.
We're going to make you famous.
Why does everyone look so familiar today?
Hey, I recognize you from my talent video.
I guess so.
Have you met the Ministry of Silliness?
I think I have. I might live with her.
Well, thank you.
There you go.
Now I can go on the rest of my neighborhood tour.
There you go. Have a great day.
You too.
And a little bubble magic for you. There we go. When I was about 25, I was traveling through Idaho on my way back from Kansas, pulling a trailer full of furniture through the snow. And I whizzed past some people, a senior citizen couple that were trying to change a tire on their RV. And I managed to find a spot to turn the rig around and went back to assist them. And through a brief conversation, I found out that they had gone to see their son at Utah State University, which is in Logan, Utah, which happens to be where my dad went to school. And what was really great about that is their son had become a student of my father's. And it was his recommendation that sent him to Logan, Utah. What an ironic turn of events that I would happen to meet someone whose child was a student of my dad. And you would never know unless you stop. So it pays to stop and help someone. You never know. We've got a donation box up ahead, and we're going to stop and put a few things in that we brought. Here we are. Take what you need, leave what you don't. Thank you. All right. And I'm going to take just a minute to do that. Turn this around. Okay. Right here, we got a backpack with a few things in it. And we're going to put those in the donation box. It's nice to lighten up your load with things that you don't need and share them with somebody that does need them. That can be food, it can be clothing, it can be tents or tarps or sleeping bags or warm clothing. It's nice to take the things that you don't use and share them with somebody that can use them. I see a broom. leaning against the wall. And I'm going to take a minute and scoop some of this up. This is our local municipal auditorium. This is where the public can come for concerts. This is where the kids roller skate on the weekends. And as a public place, the public is also welcome to participate in its upkeep. And I try to do my part. So I am going to once again turn this over to my assistant, if I may. Thank you. He's a quadruplet, I believe.
It's everywhere.
He's everywhere. When I was getting ready for court one day and living in my car, I went to an acquaintance's house to borrow the shower. While I was in the shower, somebody in that house came up missing their drugs. I was accused of it. They stole my purse. I couldn't wear my makeup because my makeup was in my purse. I had to go to court without my makeup. I felt naked. It was terrible. A couple years later, I got asked if I would like to go out on a outing with a couple of women that I knew casually. Well, they kidnapped me and took me somewhere where they were going to do me in for taking those drugs that I didn't take on the day I went to court. Well, let's fast forward 10 years. I ran into one of those girls that kidnapped me that day. She didn't recognize me and she was in dire straits. She had nothing. She had no clothes. She was desperate, and I had some clothing that I shared with her and I fed her. And she didn't remember who I was until after she had walked out the door and I was saying goodbye. And she looked at me and that look on her face was just pure astonishment. And I know people change. And I like to give them that opportunity to be their best selves, because at some point, if you were not a good person and you changed your ways, and you had to have that impetus to do so. You had to have that moment where you made that change. And I like to give everybody the opportunity to be their best selves. And so here we are at a place where I've been working on a wall, where the wall is all moldy, and you can see where I've been scrubbing it off down to a certain point. And I've got my bucket of bleach, and I am going to proceed with my task. I think it's making a big difference. And you see where and it's just mold. It doesn't necessarily need paint. If you scrub the mold off, it looks new again. So I've been working on this wall for a while now. Probably just a couple of days and, a couple of hours a day for a couple of days. But I'm working my way around the corner and it's making a difference. And it's one of the small things that I can do to make a difference in my community. So I hope that you went on a walk with me and you discovered something that you could do in your environment. And if you did, please let us know what it was. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to continue to scrub while those questions come in. Thank you.
Yeah, if you all have any questions, you got about 5 minutes.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you to all our helpers, Erin and Kristy and Julie and Roberto and our new guy, Mike.
So yeah,
And Justin, our fearless leader, Justin. Thank you, Justin.
This is amazing. Thank you for all the stories, and for Justin, just awesome. Thank you so much. In the few minutes that I went outside on a walk, I was able to take the poop bags off of some people and throw them away. And then I got a plant to care for the next week because my neighbor didn't trust their housemates. And that,
cool.
I mean, it was in like 4 minutes or less. And now I'm back on my couch, and it was just simply asking, is there something nice I can do for you right now? And I explained briefly the prompt, and I just really appreciate the specialties that everybody shared, everyone that shared. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lisa.
Yeah. Who else went for a walk? I want to know. Harold, you went outside. I saw the
I went for a walk. I did a little weed picking and some trash picking up, and just a chance to observe the neighborhood through this perspective. But yeah, I just want to say how amazing this was, and everyone did such a great job. I really, really loved it.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks so much for your continued mentorship. Appreciate it. So if no one else went on a walk, what about any questions? We have about a few minutes. If not, no worries, we can end early.
Amanda, you went on a walk.
I didn't really go on a walk because I'm running tech, but I did get some neighbors knocking on my door during the time that you were on a walk, and I loaned a few skateboards and picked up some trash on my stoop and shared the video with my neighbors.
Cool. Awesome.
I have
Just
a
few
question.
moments, right? Yes.
I'm really curious about the tool belt. Is that something that Michelle regularly wears?
Yeah, actually, I work in maintenance at Carter House Inns, and there's 5 buildings that I help maintain.
But interesting story about that particular tool belt is that when I got clean, my mentor, like, I didn't want to go to college, and my mentor got me a job. I think my third job was at a construction site. He bought me the tool belt. He told the construction foreman that he knew to not give me any good jobs. So for 7 months, I cut rebar and swept. He wanted me to like be fed up and go to college. So
And it worked.
And it worked.
Made him miserable enough to study. That's a good thing.
I had a question. I mean, I also wanted to say that this was really incredible, and just thank you to Kristy, Aaron, and Michelle so much for sharing. I'm a fellow addict in recovery, and just seeing the strength that you all seeing you formalize the skills you've developed as part of your recovery in this way is so beautiful. And so thank you so much. And Justin, thanks. And I was curious, Michelle, it sounds like you have experience in theater and performing.
Yes.
And, I was thinking of kind of what you are all doing right now as a type of play. Are you all thinking of it like that at all, or?
I know I am. I'm involved in probably more than 150 productions altogether in lots of various capacities, from costume designer to stage manager to actor. And yeah, I was waiting for the stage manager to go 5 minutes and he didn't show up.
Totally.
Places, everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
It was interesting, Mo, and Mo brought up an interesting comment because she has a theater background. I don't know if Mo's available to mention what you mentioned about the idea of how it relates to recovery and addiction.
Oh, which part? Yeah, we were talking this morning about this, and
sorry to call you out like that.
No, that's okay. There was a lot we talked about. I did have a question about the composition of this and how y'all came up with the composition of the walk, and how I was just wondering about the process of that.
I think it was a collaborative effort.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that you had done.
This is something I really do. I do this.
All the time.
I do it all the time. And I have no free time because of it, but that's a good thing for me because if the devil dances in empty pockets, woo! Yeah. So lead me not into temptation. I can find it by myself. But we all got together and talked about it, and I just figured out how to chart a path that was within walking distance of where we were sitting when we started, and looked around and found things that needed to be done and turned it into something we could share, that we could count on to be there when we got there,
But we had some stuff taken constantly.
So our so-called spontaneous was actually not, but we tried to make it look that way as much as we could.
Yeah, what I talked to Justin about earlier was performing skills as making them habit. And that's something that I find really striking about the work that all of you do in this project over time.
Yes, and they're good habits. I had lots of bad habits and I've traded them in. And I like being productive. I like helping people. So this has been a very healthy transformation for me. It's taken a while, but now it's something I practice all the time. I don't even think about it. I'm just always out doing things for others because it keeps me from doing bad things for myself.
Cool.
It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing, everyone.
Well, thank you for your questions. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mo, for the support earlier too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just also want to say that I think the layout of the entire event was really great, with each person doing their introductions, videos, stories. The videos were really amazing, and the puppets and voices for that section were really incredible. I mean, everything was, but that was really impressive, and then so interesting to kind of go from these different forms and then into this walking performance. Was pretty spectacular.
Well, thank you.
All of it.
Thank you very much. And we owe that all to Justin, because without him, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yay, Justin. I also wanted to say how much I loved the mascara story. Just like, I'm going to choose mascara, and then just like where that went. And I will never think of mascara in the same way again. And I love that so much. I thought it was just so beautiful, and how, as I was watching the video that you made where you were making up your face in the most beautiful way and telling the story about what it meant to like direct that attention of beautifying yourself toward yourself as a way to survive grief, I just thought was really, thank you. There were so many beautiful moments, and I just appreciate all the stories and the willingness to share. And I love your look today too, just so you know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, if there's no other questions, then I guess take a break, because I want to give some time for the last hour. So.
And we're going to back up with one last shot on my wall. Yay, wall.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, what a difference, huh?
So stark. Woohoo!
Justin, maybe you can show everybody together and we can just do a quick little applause or something for
yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
Y'all can get over there, right?
Now we need a group shot. Somebody bring a phone, take a picture of everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Come on.
Thank you.
Are you gonna do a bow? Yeah, bow.
Take a bow.
Take a bow.
There it is.
Bravo.
Nice. Bravo.
Yay.
Standing ovation.